My name is Elaine Harrington. I am a chartered physiotherapist and clinical Pilates instructor. Today I'm going to talk you through a nice gentle core activation phase, and we'll talk a little bit about how to engage those lower abdominal muscles that we talk about so often in Pilates. Alright, so today we're going to start laying on your back. So find yourself a mat or towel, something comfortable that you can lay down on. We're going to start with your knees bent and your hands down by your side. You want your feet, knees about hip distance apart and your arms relaxed gently alongside your ribs. We're going to find our neutral spine first of all. So to do that, I want you to bring your attention to your pelvis, and I want you to imagine that there is a little bowl of water resting between your belly button and your pubic bone. We're going to tip the water out of the bowl as you roll your hips backwards, tipping the water down into your navel or into your belly button, feeling your lower back flatten down nice and flat onto the floor. Gently tip the bowl forwards, let the water fall in between your legs now as you roll your hips and pelvis forwards, arching that lower back and feeling that lift between and that space deep in between the lower back and the floor. Scoot through the belly. I want you to tuck your tail in, flatten your back, tip the water down into your belly button, and then gently roll forwards, tipping the water in between the legs. Good. So arching the back in this position, and then exhaling as you roll the hips back, flattening the lower back. Inhale, tip the water forwards in between the legs, feel the lower back lift off the floor, and then gently roll backwards, flattening the lower back down into the floor. Let's do this a couple of times, really feeling that movement in the lower back as you flatten it down to the floor, and then extend and arch all the way up, rolling all the way backwards and all the way forwards. If you were to imagine you had a tail, as you roll the back flat down onto the floor, facing that spine, you feel your tail tucking in between your legs, and as you roll the hips and pelvis forwards, it would be like sticking that tail out behind you. So let's just do that one more time, getting that nice movement through the lower back as we warm up and prepare for our abdominal series. And we're going to rest in a neutral spine. Neutral spine is halfway between those 2 points in the back, and where that bowl of water, if it were still resting there, would be perfectly balanced. No water would be spilling out of the edges. So in neutral spine, our 2 hip bones and our pubic bone would be in a nice level plane. And from here, we're going to engage our lower abdominals. Now, our lower abdominals is a sling muscle that runs across the front of our hips and pelvis, and then, like a corset, it runs around in a dome shape and connects to the lower part of our back. A lot of people refer to this as one of our main stabilizing muscles, and it does help to brace and engage through our lower back and give us extra support around our organs in our lower tummy. So to find this muscle, you're going to take a nice big breath in for me through the nose, and as you exhale, I want you to draw the lower tummy down away from the waistline of your trousers. Inhale, relax, and exhale, draw the lower tummy down away from the waistline of your trousers towards the spine. Okay, some people will cue this muscle in and you'll feel as if you're zipping up a pair of jeans that are one size too small. You want to do up the zipper, tightening through those lower tummy muscles, but there's no need to do up the button or the belt of the jeans. Okay, so we don't want to be sucking everything all the way into our ribs. We want to relax our six-pack muscle or our upper abdominals and just really feel that lower engagement through the lower part of our tummy. Okay, so below the belly button is where you should feel this muscle activation. Okay, so inhale and relax again for me, and exhale one more time. We're going to draw the lower tummy muscles in away from the waistline of the trousers, tightening through there, and we're going to just gently hold it. This muscle does not need to work at 100% at any point throughout this series. You just want to be able to breathe. You should be able to hold a conversation like me and just feel just a gentle tightening through the lower waistline. Remember, we're just zipping up the zip of the jeans, not doing up the button. Okay, keeping that tension through the lower tummy, keeping your ribs, or your hip ribs nice and relaxed, and your pelvis and your lower back in that nice neutral position. We're going to take a nice breath in. And as you exhale through the mouth, just slowly slide your right leg away from you, reaching it down towards the opposite end of the mat. And try and keep a neutral spine. If you feel your lower back starts to lift, then I want you to stop as soon as you feel that movement, okay? So you may not get the leg all the way straight. Inhale, pull that heel back in towards you. And exhale, switch sides, reaching the left leg out long, keeping a nice neutral spine, and stop short if you feel that lower back starts to lift. Inhale to pull that heel back in. Exhale, switching sides, keeping the pelvis nice and level, keeping the lower tummy engaged. That will help keep you in a nice neutral spine. Switching legs, exhaling as you reach the leg out, and inhale to return. Nice. Exhale, reaching the opposite leg out. Inhale to return. Exhale, reaching the opposite leg out again, and inhale to return. Now, those hands, let's bring them back down by your side, and let's add in a contralateral or an opposite arm movement. So as you extend our right leg away from us, reach your left arm up towards the ceiling and back behind you. See if you can keep a neutral spine throughout. Inhale to return. Exhale, reach the left leg away from you, right arm reaches up and back. Inhale to return. Exhale, right leg, left arm reaches away. Inhale to return. Exhale, reach the left arm up and away. Inhale to return. All the time keeping that pair of jeans zipped up, keeping those lower tummy muscles engaged, and keeping a nice neutral spine. If you were to imagine a tray of drinks resting across your pelvis during this exercise, they would not wobble, you would not spill a drop. Okay, let's go for one more on each leg, reaching opposite arm and opposite leg away, and then drawing them back in. Reaching opposite arm and opposite leg away, and drawing back in. Now you can challenge yourself in this series and grab 2 little hand weights or a tin of beans in each hand, and as you reach the arm up and over, you add that extra bit of load into the arms, working and challenging those abdominals a little bit more. Alright, and coming to rest. Just reset. If you feel any strain at any point during any of these exercises, come back to our very first movement where we just gently roll the hips forwards and backwards, reset to find that neutral spine, and draw up and in through those lower abdominals, because they can get tired and they can fatigue. So if you feel any strain through your lower back at any point, reset and re-engage. Alright, keeping that nice neutral spine. Now you should have the slightest space between your lower back and the floor, enough to fit your fingers about halfway through to reach the middle of your back. Keeping those lower tummy muscles turned on, just gently draw up and in through the lower waistline. We're going to inhale through the nose and exhale, reaching one leg up to a tabletop position. That is a 90-degree angle at your knee and your hip, keeping your knee stacked directly over your hip. Inhale here, and then exhale. Try and reach your left leg up to meet it. You should still be in a neutral spine, and you should feel both tummy muscles working, or the lower tummy muscles working hard, and you should try and remain as soft as possible through the upper abdominals. If you feel there's any bracing or any doming here in this position of your upper abdominals, then I want you to just lower that left leg again and just work on one leg at a time. Reaching right leg to tabletop and tapping it back down into that same position. Alright, if you're okay with this exercise and you find you've no doming, you're going to come with me and we're going to reach your right leg to tabletop and left leg to tabletop, working with the breath. Right leg lowers all the way back down, left leg lowers back down. So it's a gentle up, up, down, down. Breathing with every movement. Up, up, down, down. Up, up, down, down. And one more. Right leg comes up, left leg comes up. Right repeat leading with the left leg. Left leg tabletop, 90 degrees at the knee and the hip. Right leg to tabletop. Left leg lowers all the way down, right leg lowers all the way down. Left comes up, right up, left down, right down. Left up, up, down, down. Lower tummy muscles stay on. You're still breathing and you're keeping a nice neutral spine. If you're working at a more beginner level and this feels like it's too much on your lower back at this point, then just work with a single leg. Just lifting and lowering that left leg from tabletop and back to your crook lying position. Left leg lowers, right leg lowers. Nice. Reset. Find your neutral spine again, just in case you've lost it. Lower tummy switches on again, drawing up and in through those lower abdominals, and we're going to reach that right leg back to tabletop. Good. Hands are going to come behind the back of the head and neck. Alright, from here we're going to reach that right leg out long, pull it back to tabletop. Reaching the right leg out long and pull it back to tabletop. Nice. Reach the right leg out long, back to tabletop. One more time. Right leg extends, holding neutral spine and back to tabletop. Lowering that right leg down. Left leg comes up to tabletop. We reach it out long, keeping neutral spine. Inhale to return. Exhale, reach it out long. Inhale to return. Exhale, reach it out long. Inhale to return. Exhale, reach that left leg out long. Inhale to return and lower back down. Nice. Let's challenge ourselves a little bit more. Bringing both legs back up to tabletop. Good. And from there, we're going to reach that right leg out long. Draw it back in. Left leg goes out long. Draw it back in. Exhale, right extends. Inhale to return. Exhale, left extends. Inhale to return. Right reaches out and return. Left reaches out and return. Keeping our nice neutral spine. If you find that strain through the lower back, come back to just a single leg with the opposite leg resting on the floor. Give me 2 more on each side. Fantastic work, everyone. Right leg comes out long, left leg comes out long, and we're going to stay here in tabletop. Fingertips back behind the back of your head, and we're going to come into a crisscross motion. So we're going to reach the right leg out long again, and we're going to reach our right elbow towards our left knee. Coming all the way back down, right leg comes in. Left leg reaches out long, and left elbow goes to the right knee. Lowering the chest back down, bring the leg back in. Right leg reaches out long, and reach that right elbow towards the left knee, and lower back down. Good, and keep repeating this to each side. I want you to feel the obliques kicking in now. So as you reach your right elbow to your left knee, you should feel the right ribcage coming towards the left hip. Left ribcage comes towards your right hip, and lower back down. We're just twisting the body nice and gently, lifting the opposite shoulder blade off the floor each time. Good. Let's work for 3 more on each side. And if this feels like it's too much of a challenge, you can always come back to the single leg, reaching one leg out long as you crisscross to the opposite knee. Good. Reaching that leg out long and crisscross to the opposite knee. That leg goes out long, crisscross to the opposite knee. So that is your option. We'll take it back for our last one on each side. Good, and then gently lower one leg at a time. Reset. Let's find our neutral spine in case we've lost it, drawing up and in through those lower abdominals. Fingertips are still behind the back of the head. We're going to take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, we're going to come into a little abdominal prep. Lifting the back of the head and neck and the upper part of the shoulders off the floor. Drawing our ribs down towards our hips. Inhale here and then exhale to lower back down. Inhale to reset. Exhale as you lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Think about keeping the back of the head and neck long. Inhale to hold as we draw those ribs towards the hips, and exhale to lower back down. Inhale, reset, exhale to lift, inhale to hold, and exhale as you lower back down. Inhale to reset, exhale to lift, inhale to hold, and exhale as you lower all the way back down. Good, now we can quicken up the movement a little bit if this feels okay. Exhaling as you lift, inhale to lower. Exhale, drawing those ribs towards your hips and lowering back down. Nice. We should be able to keep a neutral spine here, so you should still be able to fit a couple of fingers in underneath your lower back as you lift that upper part of your shoulders, your head and neck up off the floor. Good, let's go for 6 more if we can. Keeping that nice neutral spine. If you find you're losing your neutral spine, then you may want to ease off on the lift and maybe don't lift quite so high. Let's go for another 3 and 2. And last one, keeping that length through the back of the neck and lower all the way back down. Nice. Bring the hands out to either side, and let's just gently let the knees drop down to the right side, loosening out that lower back, just giving it a little bit of a stretch. Draw those knees all the way back to center and bring them out to the opposite side. Come back to the center and knees go back to the right, back to center, and knees go back to the left. Alright, let's bring those hands down by your side again, and let's finish with just a little bit of spinal mobility and a little bit of glute and still some core activation with our hip rolls or our bridge sequence. So you're going to squeeze through the cheeks of the bum. Imagine you've got a €2 coin in between the cheeks, and I want you to just hold on to it there, squeezing the cheeks of the bum. We're going to scoot through the belly. You're going to tuck your tail in, flattening that lower back down onto the floor, and I want you to very gently peel one bone at a time in your spine all the way up off the floor, lifting right up onto your head and shoulders, keeping the upper part of your back and shoulder blades nice and flat on the floor. Inhale here, and then exhale. I want you to gently roll one bone at a time all the way back down. It can be quite helpful as we do this, and we're going to repeat as you squeeze and tuck and peel the spine up off the floor, to imagine your spine as a bicycle chain, broken. So each link in your bicycle chain is a bone or a vertebrae in your spine. And as you squeeze, tuck and roll, we're picking and peeling that bicycle chain up off the floor, one link at a time. So I really want you to feel the individual movement between each vertebrae as you roll and peel up and down. Squeezing, tucking and rolling as you peel all the way up. Feel where the spine moves well, and feel where your spine maybe wants to collapse or move more in a block of movement. Everyone is different, and it will feel different for everyone as they'll find their back is more mobile or more flexible in different areas than others. So I want you to focus on the parts that feel a little bit stiffer, and just really slow down the movement in those areas, and see if you can, over time and with practice, start to encourage a little bit more movement through that part of your back. So we all have different postures, we all hold ourselves differently, we all have different habits and behaviours, so therefore every spine is different and unique to you. And I want you to really just roll up and down and focus on the parts that feel a little bit stiffer, or might feel a little bit better to move in other areas than someone else. Okay, we're going to hold it up here at the top. So holding it in our bridge, I want you to inhale, squeeze the glutes, feel the lower tummy muscles working here, and we're going to slowly, as you exhale, lift one heel off the floor and lower back down. Lifting the opposite heel off the floor, lower back down. Can you keep your hips nice and steady as you do this? As you lift one heel, you'll feel the opposite glute or bum cheek kick in. That is what's going to keep your hips nice and steady. So as you lift your left heel, squeeze your right glute. As you lift your right heel, squeeze your left glute. Good. And switching for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rolling all the way back down. Nice. We're going to do that one more time. Squeeze, tuck and roll as we peel the spine all the way up. Hold your hips up there and lifting and lowering. Opposite heel, opposite glute. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly lower back down. Nice. We'll come up one more time and you can stick with that level if you like. Otherwise, you can join me if that felt good and you've got it in you. We're going to float your right leg to tabletop and lower it back down. Keeping those hips nice and steady. Really squeeze your right glute as you lift the left leg to tabletop and lower it back down. Right leg lifts, left glute kicks in. Left leg lifts, right glute kicks in. Keeping those hips as steady as you can, switching from side to side. If you find you're getting too much movement at the hips with this exercise, I want you to come back to just the heel lifts. That in itself is a challenge. And we're going to go for 6 more. Right leg lifts and lower. Left leg lifts and lower. Good. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and roll all the way back down. Nice. Reach those hands out to the side in a T position. Bring the feet a little bit wider so that they are the width of your towel or your mat. And we're just going to very gently mobilize that spine one last time as we let the knees drop out to the right like a windscreen wiper. You can even nod or turn your head to the opposite side, to the left. Keeping the shoulders nice and flat on the floor and just feel that stretch through the hips and through the lower back. Take as long as you like here, just focusing on the breath, inhaling and exhaling. And when you're ready, bring those knees back to the center, the head comes back to the center, and then very gently letting the knees drop out to the left side, windscreen wiper them all the way over, turning the head to the right. And take as many breaths in here as you feel you need, feeling that stretch through the hips and through the lower back. Now, if you want to practice any of this at home yourself or even throughout the day today, just really engaging your lower tummy muscles. Remember those cues. It's different for everyone and everyone will feel it a little bit different. Whether that's finding your neutral spine through getting the petri dish of water or a bowl of water nice and balanced on your lower tummy. Feeling those lower abdominal muscles kick in, whether you're sitting at your desk or out for a walk later on today. I want you to imagine that feeling or that sensation of drawing or zipping up that pair of jeans that are just one size too small, and see if you can keep that muscle engaged as you walk or as you have a conversation or as you continue to type an email on your computer. So you should be able to breathe, have a conversation while still activating through that muscle. Okay, I hope that helped today, and I wish you a lovely day. Well done, and we'll work on challenging you a little bit more next time.